Welcome to the Empower Her Moments morning show, where we create intentional mindset shifts, empower women to embrace their potential, and open their hearts to their deepest desires. Join Margot, the beauty guru, your self-love and business strategist, and Dr. Alicia A. Williams, your transformation and empowerment coach. These dynamic women are here to guide you, inspire you, and uplift you. Together, they'll help you unleash your potential and own your journey. It's time to step into your greatness. Let's get started.
Happy New Year's! It is 2025, ladies.
Yes.
Are you excited?
Yes. Good morning.
Good morning. Welcome to Empower Her Moments morning show, where our mission is to inspire, uplift, and empower women around the world.
Today's topic is going to be about struggling with self-doubt and imposter syndrome. Have you ever achieved something great, but still felt like you weren't good enough or that you didn't truly deserve it? So today, let's explore how to silence self-doubt, overcome imposter syndrome, and fully own your success.
Sis, listen, I have definitely been there. Let me tell you something, ladies, in 2025, we are celebrating every win.
Yes.
We are not questioning that inner voice saying, you know what, girl, you really could have done better, or she was actually better than you. That's what we're not doing this year.
I agree. And imposter syndrome, it is a thing.
Yes, it is.
Like so many people struggle with it, you know, and at the end of the day, you have to silence the noise. And that's that inner noise. And that's what we're going to talk about this morning. We're going to talk about how to stand in your power, be confident in whatever your decisions are, whatever your achievements are, and silencing that self-doubt, because that is a game changer. It's a killer when you purposely, self-consciously position yourself to feel like you're not enough.
Yeah, and that's one of the big things that a lot of women deal with. That goes back to a prior episode. We talked to the ladies about, you know, truly understanding who they are and the power that they actually possess within themselves. It is so important that they know that greatness lies within them. But what I've learned is that so many women downplay the wins. They feel like if it's not a big win, I'm not going to speak about it. I'm not going to say anything about it because they're afraid of what other people are going to say.
And a lot of times the imposter syndrome happens a lot with high achieving people. So again, when you see that person who's doing things and they're making those strides and doing things, you never know what they're dealing with internally, because that is something that no matter what you do, how you do it, how many people show up, how many accolades you get, you still have that inner feeling of, man, it just was not enough. And I could imagine that could be discouraging on so many levels.
Oh, most definitely. I can honestly say I've experienced that. I've experienced that many times, especially in my early stages of building as an entrepreneur, where I would speak to large crowds and I feel like I could have gave them more.
Right.
Yeah, they were energized. I could see the excitement in their face, but I felt like I could have given them much more, but I was afraid to take that next step over. So I silenced myself.
I see that.
I pulled back.
See that. And I guess my question is, lady, when is enough enough? Because what I realize is that most people who struggle with imposter syndrome, all you are looking for is validation and to be recognized, right? But it's so, it's so weird how things can still show up, because you can have thousands of people that stand up and applaud you at an event, but you're still feeling like I shoulda, coulda did more. And these 1,000 people, their clapping is not fulfilling that need of me being recognized or acknowledged.
You're still not getting enough, because it's that feeling of, I know I could have done better. I know I could have given them more, but why didn't I?
Okay, I see that. But what if you are a person who has given it everything you've had and still feel like, I did this huge event, I did this big speaking engagement, and man, I still, don't feel satisfied or feel like I want to own that space.
Yeah.
I had a really good talk with a real close girlfriend of mine, and we were talking, and she, had an event, or she did a presentation, and she was like, "I'm struggling. Like I am really struggling with just owning the part that I played in this experience, just really owning it." And we talked it through, and she said something that was very profound to me.
Okay.
She mentioned that being in that space was sort of like a postpartum depression. And when she said it, it just hit me different because I was like, now I can relate.
Okay.
Really relate to how you're feeling. And she was like, even though you carry the baby and you push this baby and the doctor put the baby in your arms and it's an amazing experience and you love your baby with everything that you have, you still you're not feeling good inside.
Yeah.
And so this is a real thing that people are struggling with. It's a real struggle.
They are, because you know you're great at what you do.
Right.
Like, I know I'm great at what I do.
Right.
I know you're great at what you do.
Absolutely.
But again, sometimes we feel like we beat ourselves up. We are our biggest critic.
That's true.
Biggest critic. Like, I know because the crowd applause is never enough for me. I'm going backstage and I'm saying, I could have done this, but I didn't do this. And the crowd gave me the invitation to give them more, but why did I stop? That's something to think about. Why are you stopping in there? Like they'll say, give me more. But is it because, well, the question is why?
What is the thing? Okay, so in presentations, when you're doing speaking engagements, we all know that you have an allotted time.
Oh, yeah.
So what if your time was up? What if the time that was allotted to you was up? And what I realize is in high achieving people, and let's be clear what I'm saying. This is not only for high achieving people.
Right.
However, it plays a big role and it shows up more because a lot of times you have that fear of failure.
Yeah. Yeah.
You have that fear of just really accepting that I am confident in what I presented and just saying, listen, I had my hour. That was my power hour. I killed it.
And that's it.
Call me next month. I'll be back. Y'all want more. But we'll be so hard on ourselves, and just be like, man, I could have did more. But maybe at that time it wasn't meant for you to give more.
True. And I find myself in those situations too, where you've got to learn. And this is for my speakers out here. What I've learned is the audience will tell you when to give them more and when to stop.
Right.
But that goes back to if you pay attention. But that also goes back to that gift that I told you that I naturally have, is that I can read the room. And if I notice there's an emotion that's taking place over the room, then I switch gears of how I'm addressing the audience. But then if there's that silence of they're confused, then I know I need to take a different direction. So sometimes when you're in a position that way, when you're speaking, you're feeling inadequate, as if, did you actually meet the need of what that presentation was for?
Okay. I get that. And a lot of it comes with being a perfectionist.
Oh, yes.
Let's have a real conversation.
Yeah, because I find myself being a perfectionist at times.
Yeah. And so when you're that person where everything has to be perfect, and I'm that way too. I'm real, like, it just really depends on what I'm doing. But any project that I'm doing, anything that I put out, I'm very critical. I'm very strategic. I'm on time with things. And I do understand that concept of beating yourself up and not feeling like I did enough and I can do more.
Exactly.
But the thing is that so many people are hindered by that.
Almost definitely.
And because some people don't have the wherewithal to bounce back after having those emotions. So after they're doing this big event and this big thing that they should, enjoy the accolades for, they'll then shut down and withdraw. Because I don't want to have nothing to do with this. Just how you hear about postpartum with moms. I love my baby, but I need, my mom had to come and help.
Right.
People had to come help.
They were withdrawn.
They were withdrawn. And so, like, it is a real thing. And we're talking about it now because we want to give you guys tools to help you process through that space, because it is a real thing. And it's something that myself and Dr. Alicia have dealt with, in times. And so being able to find that encouragement and being able to stand in that is progress over progression.
Yes.
Just understanding that you're making the strides and you're doing the things that you're supposed to do no matter how you feel, and stop being critical of yourself.
Progress over perfection.
Love that.
Progress over perfection, because
Love
we
that.
want things to be a certain way and we want to be given the validation, but sometimes we're not satisfied with what we get because we want things to be a certain way. I'll give an example. I've achieved some very high accolades, and I've had to survey the room and say, I'm in a room amongst these individuals
Right.
that I know have done countless, multiple things, and I had to have a self-talk to say to myself, well, wait a minute, so have you.
That's right.
So have you.
That's right.
And I had to understand, as much as I preach to everybody else and tell them that there's greatness in me, I had to understand that I am that greatness.
Absolutely.
And so that also goes back to that confidence,
Yes.
But here's the thing, there's levels to confidence.
Let's talk about it.
Let's talk about those levels of confidence, because as I just said, I'm in a room amongst people I know that they are well known. Everybody knows them. And I'm just saying to myself, I'm downplaying myself and say, oh, little old me.
Right.
No, but little old you're somebody too as well.
That's right.
Understand who you are.
That's right.
And understand the value that you bring to the table and add the tax.
Right.
And so I had to say, you know what, girl? I had to get that talk to myself and say, you got 2.5 seconds to posture up and
That's
understand who you are and what you bring to the table. You deserved it.
Yes.
This is why you were chosen for this. And I had to understand that this wasn't anything given to me. I actually earned it. And so therefore, that's why I am in that room. And that's why I am sitting at that table. And this is why I was awarded this.
I appreciate you sharing that, because that's something that so many of us have challenges with. And another side note that I want to make, when it comes to having the imposter syndrome, because listen, guys, we're in a new year. So how they say, new year, new you. Okay, so let's get into it. What I also understand, and this helped me, I am now very careful who is around me for the successes. Right? Because that is another thing.
Yeah.
You feed off of energy that's given to you. That's a lot of the imposter syndrome sometimes come from the neglect of genuine support. That neglect of someone saying, hey, sis, I see you. And I can tell you, a lot of times I've had conversations, because some people be like, that I work with in my team, like, Margot, your ego is in reverse. You too laid back, you too, humble. But I love that, because I own that space. That's my space. Right. That's who I am. So I'm not the one that got to be out front. I don't have to be in front of everybody. I don't have to be the key. But baby, trust and believe I'm behind, and I'm making this train go.
I'm making it happen.
I'm pushing things forward. And I said all that to share. That's where your confidence get built. It gets built in when you're not in the front. It gets built in when people don't really know who you are for real. And for me, that has given me my space to encourage myself and say, girl, you got this. Girl, you bad. And the thing is that it's who you surround yourself around. Right. And I had someone walk up to me the other day. I was at a ceremony and I was, getting an award. This was like a couple of months back. And she acknowledged me for an award, and I didn't even know her. But she said something to me when I got ready to leave. She looked at me and said, you never know who's watching. She said, and I have been watching you. And it's so, I can truly attest to that. I experienced that too as well. I was told that I've been watching you for quite some time. Absolutely.
And that is why I've continued to show up the way that I do. Right. That is why I continue to say, you know what? I am great.
That's right.
I look myself in the mirror. I turn that mirror to myself.
Okay, well, hold on. Dr. Alicia finna drop something for y'all ladies. So y'all listening to this mirror talk. Because one thing about me, honey, if you know me, I love a good mirror conversation, because it will get you all the way together. Okay, so Dr. Alicia, share with the ladies, honey, what you did when you looked in the mirror.
Listen, I had to look in the mirror and say, dear self.
Yes, come on.
You are somebody.
That's right.
I had to understand that I had to trust my dopeness and understand that I am dope.
That's right.
It's about speaking those affirmations over yourself. When nobody else encourages you, encourage yourself. You don't need validation from anybody. The validation comes from within. Yes. That is that intrinsic motivation. Let's talk about that intrinsic motivation. So, because when you understand truly what intrinsic motivation is, you can show up and be okay with the accolades, the celebrations, everything that is given to you and everything that is earned to you. You won't have to question it or feel bad about it.
That's right.
So in this season, we're going to celebrate the wins and don't apologize for them.
Absolutely. And also embrace your uniqueness. Man, embrace your strengths and flaws, all of that. Because when you're able to do that, that's how you build that confidence. That's how you build that authenticity. You know, it's nothing like knowing where your and I use this loosely, but where your holes are, meaning your strengths and your weaknesses. You got to know that. And one thing I'm very keen on, I surround myself with people who has strengths where I'm weaker at.
That's right.
That's what it's about. And it ain't no competition.
Because if you're the smartest person in the room, we're in the wrong room.
I don't sit in rooms when I'm the big. I don't sit in rooms where I'm the smartest one in the room. And I don't swim in ponds when I'm the biggest fish.
Come on.
I just don't.
You can't. You can't.
I just don't.
Make it make sense.
Because ultimately the idea is to grow.
Yeah.
The idea is to surpass that imposter syndrome and say to yourself, I have everything that I need. I am who I think I am. And I am who the person who hired me to do this gig. Or the person who accepted that invitation that I gave them. I am who they think I am. Because that's where we miss it at. We definitely miss it in that point.
It took me a while to realize that. Being one of the youngest administrators many years ago, I was looked at where she come from.
That's right.
How is it that she can come in and she can take over this position?
Well, honey, faith ain't fair.
But it's never fair.
Don't feel no type of way about it. Faith ain't fair.
It ain't fair. It ain't fair, but it's always right.
That's right. Always right.
Why? Is because it's all God. Yes. And when you truly understand who you are and whose you are, you can understand why you've been positioned and equipped for the assignment that He has given you. So I had to understand that, no. I'm equipped for this.
That's right.
He wouldn't have me here if I wasn't.
Right.
And so I had to, at 5'3", I had to enter the building as a woman who understood who she was.
That's right.
And then I'd apologize and say, no, I deserve to be here. Right. Because number one, not only am I qualified, number one.
That's right.
I'm actually overqualified. If you really want to go there.
Tell the people, Dr. Alicia. Tell them what they need to know.
I was actually overqualified because, see, that can be a thing, too, as well.
Yes.
You're not just qualified, you're actually overqualified. And so you're being overqualified intimidates individuals at times. Because why? That's an issue that they have to deal with in themselves.
Right.
But at the end of the day, I had to understand that I was qualified.
That's
more than qualified for the position. And I had to take ownership and say, you know what? I got this.
Yeah.
He didn't bring me this far to only bring me this far. So now put your big girl panties on.
That's right. You better put them on.
And level up.
That's right.
And trust your dopeness in this season.
That's
ladies.
right. That's right. And you know what, Dr. Alicia, that was amazing because that is trust your dopeness. Ladies, listen, we're all dope in our own right. You understand what I'm saying? And at the end of the day, we can't be confused with that. We have to understand that we are dope, that we have what we need. And listen, it's nothing that we couldn't achieve if we put our minds to it.
Exactly.
So this was great because guess what? 2025 is going to be an amazing year, Dr. Alicia, honey.
Let me tell you.
Listen, it is getting ready to be a whole movie, okay?
A whole movie.
So listen, if you're dealing with that imposter syndrome and you're trying to figure things out, drop it today, okay? That inner voice, that inner doubt that's telling you that you can't do what you're supposed to do, you can't do what you are called to do. Today, you're going to start living in your purpose and understand that you have everything that you need, okay? So if you're still navigating this journey, Dr. Alicia and I are here to support you, okay? So schedule your coaching consultation with us at empowerhermoments.com and become part of the Empower Her Moments community because guess what, ladies? We are here for each other. We are championing for each other and we will get through this together, okay? Thank you for joining us on the Empower Her Moments Morning Show. This episode is powered by Brian Williams. He is a commercial and residential realtor with Prestige Real Estate Group. Okay, so you can contact him at Brian Williams at prestigerealestategroup.com and also follow him on social media handles Brian_Realtor ATL. Until next time, ladies, keep shining, stay empowered, and know that you are capable of amazing things in this new year, 2025. See you all next time.
Again, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.